Hey everyone, it's Bree. I'm back with another scrapbook process video for SpiegelMom Scraps. And I'm going to be focusing on two sequin mixes that were part of the July release. And the first one is He Said, She Said, and the second one is Gold Summer Sunset. Today I'm going to be focusing on chipboard, specifically chipboard frames. Now, I struggle every time I get a chipboard sheet or anything chipboard that has frames. I typically tend to leave those and never use them. I have no idea, but I have the hardest time using them. So I know the last couple layouts that I have created for SpiegelMom Scraps have had some kind of shaker element on them. So I just decided to continue the little trend that I've got going and do another shaker element, but I'm going to be using these chipboard frames from the Pink Fresh Studio as new line, Simple and Sweet, that I got in my Hip Kit Club kit. Or I think this was from the June kit. So I took all three chipboard frames that came on this on these 6x12 sheets, and the two smaller ones I'm going to be creating shakers, and then the large one that has the black and white plaid, that is going to house my photo. So I've got some acetate here, and I just removed the peel back paper to reveal the sticky side, and then I've trimmed down some acetate to create my little window. So here I am going to be messing around with the layout for my three frames. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do diagonal, like build out from the middle diagonally, or if I wanted to go horizontally or vertically. And I typically choose to go diagonally, I guess. So for this specific layout, I'm going to have my photo in the middle, and I'm going to embellish to the left and right. So right now I'm going to work on my shakers, and for these frames I only decided to use one layer of the foam tape. Usually I double up, that way the sequins can move freely. So in order to have mine still shake and move around, I didn't add a lot like I usually do. So so that way the sequins can still move and have movement, and me not have to double up on the tape, because sometimes it is a pain to double up because for me it just gets sticky a lot, and I just decided to keep it simple since these frames were small. Alright, so I'm just adding my foam tape and trimming it down and creating a little barrier for my sequin. And okay, so I do have to say that I'm completely obsessed with the Simple and Sweet collection by Pink Fresh Studio, if you haven't already noticed that. And the He Said, She Said sequins and the Gold Summer Sunset actually, there's quite a few sequin mixes that were just released for July that match perfectly with the Simple and Sweet collection. And I have found that since I'm in love with this collection, as well as some Hip Kit Club exclusives that kind of match the Simple and Sweet collection, that's all I've been wanting to use lately. And so you'll probably see a lot of it until I use it all up, which is good because I'm actually using my stash and I'm not hoarding everything like I usually would. So I don't care. I'm going to keep using it up, and it's just my luck that these sequins match perfectly. So I'm winning all around. All right, so I've got my photo. That's of me and my younger son Elijah. We are at the water park in Hawaii, and I put it in my frame, and now I'm just layering up with some cardstock. And I think I was going to pull some Project Life cards, but I don't end up using them. And I'm distressing the edges to rough it up a bit, so it's not too clean, I guess you can say. And now I'm just kind of messing with the placement of frames so that I can go ahead and put my sequins inside. And I do it a little differently. I usually add my sequins on the inside, and I back my frame with another piece of cardstock. But for this one, I wanted to keep the background of my frame the actual cardstock that I'm using for my layout. So I added the sequins. I traced my frame so I knew where it was going to be, and I carefully added just a little bit of each mix onto the area. And let's see, yeah, so I'm taking a little bit of each, and I'm just kind of sprinkling it in one layer, and I'm going to place it carefully onto the sequins. So it'll house it, and it'll, prohibit them from like completely getting loose. So I'm going to do it again for the smaller frame. And this time I took my powder tool and actually put it on the cardstock, because the first frame I didn't, and as soon as I put the frame over it, like my sequins moved, so I kind of had to clean it up a little bit, but that's okay. So I'll erase the pencil marks, and I show you there that it shakes and they move, and I love how it looks. So I'm pulling out the Hip Kit Club exclusive die cuts, I think that's what I have in this little drawer, and I'm going to embellish. So since my shaker elements are already glued down, I'm going to create kind of like a grid, I guess you can say. I wanted to fill in gaps, basically. So the two, like the top right and the bottom left, I wanted to have embellishment clusters, I guess you could say, on each side. So one, I knew I wanted to have my title, and then the other one I just wanted to decorate. And basically what you see here is exactly what I'm going to put. And yeah, I love, okay, those acrylic white words. I need like so many more of those. I love them so much. And so, of course, my title again is generic because I'm using, you know, the word, and it's so easy, but it just looks perfect sitting on top of that. It's like a vase with flowers in it. And so I back it on this label, and then I layer it up with the word sunshine, and I love it because it was a sunshiny day, and I am just scrapbooking the heck out of all of our Hawaii photos, and just trying to get caught up on all of that. So there's my title. Oh, I love how this turned out. I think it's so cute. And then I'm going to have kind of like, it's not a subtitle, it's just a die cut, and it fit perfectly in that corner. And this says, "This makes me happy," because it does. We had a good day. I mean, you guys might be thinking, why are you going to a water park when you live in Hawaii, or when you lived in Hawaii? But we had season passes, and it was fun to go to, you know, when you didn't really want to, I mean, who doesn't want to go to the beach? But I'm saying it was just something different. It was right, like maybe 5 minutes away from our house, so we went there quite often. Okay, so I wanted to dress up my little shaker frames a little bit. So I chose some flowers that kind of fit perfectly in the corner on the top left. And it's like a flower cluster with some gold foiling. And then the bottom right, I layered up some flowers, three flowers. And I kind of looked at the color scheme. So the bottom right had a blue, a white, and a mint frame. So I brought in like a darker pink, a light pink, a yellow, and then I will eventually add like an orange star. And then the top kind of already had, like the top left, already had those same colors. So I wanted it to feel even. I wanted my colors to be distributed. I wanted it to flow nicely. And that's what I go for a lot on my pages, is I make it pleasing to the eye in regard to color reference. Is that even coming out correctly? I think so. I don't know. But yeah, so the top right, the little cluster there, is like a tag with some daisies on it. And then I add a flower die cut and a gold foil heart. And I want to add the circle stickers. And I always forget what these darn stickers are called. It's not an acetate sticker. Epoxy. There we go. That time it came easy to me. So I've spread those around. And now I wanted, like, it felt too simple to me, so I wanted to break up the corally color of my pattern paper that I'm using as my background. So I trimmed off a couple strips of this Pink Fresh Studio paper that's black and white, because it also tied in my main large frame is black and white. So I wanted to pull in a little more black and white, and so I glued it at the top, and then I'm tearing it. And so some of the black and white pattern shows through, and it really just ties everything in together, like the black and white in the middle with my frame, and then the black and white on the top and the bottom of my page. And I do add journaling off camera, but this is about it. My sequins move, and that about wraps up my layout. Oh, I lie. I'm just kidding. I do add these puppy hearts. Nope, they're not hearts. I do know my shapes, I promise. They are puppy stars. And I do add a couple colors here and there to even it out. And again, the sequins are Gold Summer Sunset and He Said, She Said. Don't forget to use my code Brianna15 to save you 15% off your next order. There is my final layout. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again so much for watching, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.